Hello, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. And for our top stories. Laos and Mongolia most at risk of default in next 4 years. Professional zoo technicians are in high demand in Mongolia. Culturally significant Buddhist festival Danshignatum Khuretsam 2022 will take place on August 6th and 7th. For other news, stay tuned. The Economist Intelligence Unit joining the Malayan banking Berhad warned of concerns about potential sovereign defaults among Asia's frontier markets. According to the report, Laos and Mongolia are most at risk amid faster inflation and rising borrowing costs. Laos has the highest chance of non-payment of debt in the next 4 years, followed by Mongolia, the Economist Intelligence Unit said in a report, adding that Myanmar is also a potential risk. Global bond investors are becoming more wary of the threat of historic cascade of defaults after Sri Lanka and Russia halted debt payments this year. The concerns are more acute in frontier economies struggling with surging imports that are cutting into their reserves, compounded by aggressive interest rate hikes from the Federal Reserve, which are driving up borrowing costs globally. It's a risk that's been echoed regarding vulnerable developing economies around the globe this year, with Bloomberg intelligence pointing to particular uncertainty in countries like El Salvador, Ghana, Egypt, Tunisia, and Pakistan. There are now 21 emerging markets with sovereign debt that trades at distressed levels. Yields are more than 10 percentage points above that of similar maturity treasuries, which can indicate investors believe that a default is a real possibility. That's more than double in the number at the end of 2021, according to data compiled by Bloomberg Index. The Economist Intelligence Unit report says that Laos and Mongolia are most at risk at following Sri Lanka into default in 2022-2026. Notably, Mongolia is expected to be reliant on new debt inflows this year and is next to meet interest payments at a time when its access to financing may be constrained by high inflation and the risk of currency depreciation, according to the EIU. We are continuing our reports on professions that are in high demand in Mongolia. In our next report, we are featuring a student who is spending his summer vacation at the farm in countryside doing his internship as a zoo technician. He believes that in the future, his profession will earn no less than mining engineer.
Ikhbayir is a junior of the Mongolian University of Life Sciences. He was born and grew in Ulaanbaatar city. However, he has become quite interested in animal husbandry and agricultural sector, so he has chosen the profession of a zoo technician.
I see Mongolia as an agricultural country. When I was at secondary school, I loved being in the countryside. Then I chose my future profession based on my interest, thinking that the animal husbandry sector will develop further in the future.
The law on animal genetics requires that there is a zoo technician in every province, but currently there are not enough people are majoring in this profession. Industry experts note that it is due to law and poor wage and salary that discourage young people. But a private enterprise has developed intensive animal husbandry, and the salary of a qualified zoo technician is becoming quite competitive.
As a professional zoo technician, I think the outcome from animal husbandry has a long-lasting effect, and it takes time to achieve something, so you need to be persistent. Young professionals need to spend at least 5 years to see the result of their work.
The live weight of this special breed bull is about 800 kilograms. The milk yield of the offspring is abundant, but it's almost impossible to improve the quality of the cattle herd by having only one such bull. A bull from a stable herd does not go out onto the pasture, but needs a lot of feed and care. A maximum of 30 to 40 cows can be inseminated annually, but depending on the production status of the cows, it will also affect the offspring. However, with the help of artificial insemination, the quality of cattle herd can be improved in a relatively short period of time.
If we want to improve our country's animal husbandry sector and take it up to the world standard, we must improve the salary of our zoo technicians working in the countryside. Zoo technicians at least should earn a salary of more than 1.5 million MNT so they can work persistently. Maybe in the next 10 years, the quality of our cattle can reach 80% of the productivity of the expensive imported breeds.
With the development of innovative technologies, some manual works can become fully automated. However, there is still a need for good specialists for creating resources that guarantee proper health services and food safety. Ichbayer says that zoo technicians' profession will be in demand for a quite long period of time.
Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs. Culturally significant Buddhist festival Danshignaadam Khuretsam 2022 will take place on August 6th and 7th at Huitotlanhutuk.
The culture of Buddhism is a significant and important part of Mongolian history. Some rituals and traditions are still celebrated today. One of the notable grandeur Buddhist festivals is Danshignaadam Khuretsam. Similarly to Mongolian Naadam Festival, the festival holds 3 sport competitions that include horse racing, wrestling, and archery. Besides sport games, the festival includes important religious events as well. Khuretsam, a masked dance ceremony, is the major highlight of the festival. Around 120 lamas dance with elaborate masks and costumes that portray various Buddhist deities, devils, animals, and legendary people. The dancers move in a specific way that symbolizes wiping out the evil and bringing peace and relief. The origin of the festival dates back to 1639, at a time when Holy Enlightened Zanbatsar was crowned as the Mongolia's first Buddhist leader at the age of 5 years old. And this notorious event was celebrated with a great Danshig festival, and it started being celebrated annually. Since 1922, all religious elements of Danshignaadam were removed due to political changes that had occurred in Mongolia. In 2015, the proper Danshig festival was revived after a 93 years hiatus on the initiative of Buddhist institutions. The edition for 2022 will take place on August 6th and 7th at Huitotlanhutuk. The festival is organized by the Governor's Office of the capital city, Ulaanbaatar City Tourism Department, and the Gandan Tikchilem Monastery. The festival is also considered as an important draw card for tourists in the summer.
Now let's take a look at currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at weather forecast for the world's major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.